Attorney General Leticia James.
Oh, come on, we're in a house of God.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about New York City firefighters mercilessly heckling New York Attorney General Leticia James during an award ceremony. Now, this was fantastic. I love this. Shout out to you guys out there for exercising your First Amendment right to freedom of speech, right to peacefully assemble, right to peacefully protest against Miss James. Now, unfortunately, FDNY Commissioner Laura Kavanaugh doesn't see it the same way I see it and the same way many of you sees it, because according to a memo, she's trying to hunt these guys down for disciplinary action, retaliatory action. I'm not quite sure what you want to call it. Now, if you ask Ms. Kavanaugh, it's not about retaliation. It's not about anything like that or trying to deny someone their First Amendment right. It's about being a professional, artist, that, and the third. But I'm not quite sure I'm buying it. Now, in case you don't know, Leticia James is the one who sued Trump, and the judgment against him is $454 million. Once you add on the actual judgment of like $375, something like that, plus interest. Like, I'm not sure how they're going to assess interest on that for a fraud allegation. The whole thing is weird. It's ticky-tack. It's bogus. It's no more than a wild goose chase. It's just a way to try to get Trump hemmed up in court, to take money away from him, to put money into their own coffers and spend it on migrants possibly. That's all it's about. It is a big witch hunt, and it's happening in New York. It's happening in Fulton County. It's happening all over the USA. Wherever they can get them, they're going to get them. That's what's going on. And I think that's what these firefighters out there in New York City understand, the same as most of us understand. Now, before I go any further, let's get into some news clips. We're going to see some more of the booing that happened at the very beginning. Then we're going to get into a news clip from local New York news. If you want to see these clips in full without my commentary, link as always will be in the description. If you're on IG, visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Oh, come on, we're in a house of God. First,
that was a great way to try and play it off, but it didn't really work at all. The same level of booing happened before and after.
Simmer down. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for getting it out of your system. I want to thank Commissioner Kavanaugh and Chief Hodgins for...
Now, if you can't see the screen or you can't hear them, they're chanting Trump, 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 because look, obviously this woman has a bone to pick, has an axe to grind against Trump with Trump, which is why $454 million. I mean, she's talking about he's got to pay interest and he's got to post bond and all type of dumb stuff. Posting bond on a civil case, because last I checked, he didn't get convicted of some kind of crime. He's not going to the penitentiary, Big Rock's Little Rock. So posting bond for a civil judgment, what part of the game is that? But let's keep on going.
That recognition.
Now that's more of that, but we're going to get into more from local New York news. Let's check this out. And we're going to hear from Laura Kavanaugh and some more. Let's check it out.
Meanwhile, FDNY Commissioner Laura Kavanaugh apologized for the heckling of Attorney General Leticia James last week.
It happened at a department promotion ceremony at a church in Brooklyn last Thursday by pro-Trump members in that audience. Ms. Kavanaugh returned to that church yesterday to address the issue.
Not only is the fire department the greatest fire department in the world, it is also the most professional fire department in the world. And we let down that reputation on Thursday.
I got a question. I mean, and please don't take it the wrong way, but who is this woman and why is she the commissioner? Maybe she might have been a firefighter. Maybe she was very well decorated, but you're talking about firefighters. You have female firefighters in the ranks. I'm not going to deny you guys. Shout out to y'all. My dad was a recruiter. Obviously, you guys know he was a firefighter 22 years, Norfolk, Virginia Fire Rescue, RIP to him. And he recruited some women, but it was very rare. firefighting overwhelmingly male, maybe even more than police.
So the New York Post is reporting that a memo was handed out yesterday at all the firehouses warning firefighters that department investigators are reviewing video footage of the event to identify those FDNY people involved.
Investigators, like, okay, if it's not about retaliation or anything like that, or trying to deny someone their First Amendment right, then why do we have investigators? What are we trying to find? If you find someone who was involved with the booing and the heckling and whatnot, what's going to be the consequence? If there is a consequence, then can you say you have your First Amendment rights? Like, what's really going on here?
Meanwhile, a spokesperson for the FDNY, Jim Long, said the investigation isn't about politics, but professionals at an official event. You know, freedom of speech, I think, does play a part in some of this.
But also,
we'll
if you're representing the fire department, that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
At an official event, it doesn't really.
Come on, Kevin. Let's not do that.
Apply in certain cases.
I know. Well, we'll see how it kind of plays out right now.
I think
Now, one thing about freedom of speech, I know somebody's going to come into the comments and say, well, actually, ABL, freedom of speech is just about you not being able to be punished by the government for your speech. Oh, well, are we talking about a private fire company? We talking about New York City? We talking about a public entity? Is that what we talking about? Oh, okay, cool. Maybe somebody's going to say, well, you can't get locked up for your actions. Well, you're dealing with a public entity. You're dealing with the city government, federal monies. I mean, at a certain point, there's rights that you are rewarded that are different than if you are working with a private company. So I'm just trying to figure out where we're going to go with this. Why was there an investigator hired? Why did the commissioner have to go and apologize? Apologize for what? People have the right to voice their opinion, to express their freedom of speech, especially in a public place like being a firefighter, like at a promotion ceremony. Why can't you boo somebody? Why is that a bad thing to boo? That's really crazy, especially when you're trying to keep guys on, because fire, police, they're kind of one and the same. So if you are having guys retire from the police force, maybe even from fire, because at a certain point, like I said, you guys are intertwined, first responders kind of intertwined. If there is like a support for these guys and you're trying to cut monies from these guys, allegedly, then why would you do something like hire an investigator to seek who was doing the booing? Maybe you got your priorities in the wrong place. Maybe your priority should be about dealing with these migrants, keeping that wall built up, a proverbial wall on New York State and New York City. Maybe that should be your focus. But as I close, I want to say this again. Shout out to the firefighters who expressed their freedom of speech and booed their attorney general. If I was in you guys' shoes right there with y'all, I'd be doing the same thing, because she deserves to get booed. Not just her, but she's talking about the Secretary of State, whoever that was in Maine, that tried to take Trump off the ballot. Was it Sheena Bellows? And then the lady out there in Colorado tried to do the same thing. And then the judge out there in Cook County, Illinois. And of course, Big Fonny out there in Fulton County, Georgia, going back to New York, Alvin Bragg. All these people deserve to get booed because they're not doing a good job. And not only are they not doing a good job, they're actually doing a very bad job. They're doing a harmful thing to this entire country by trying to attack a former president and deny all of us of our right to vote for that man if we so desire. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think the firefighters should be punished for booing Leticia James? And if it was not her that they were booing, would it be the same level of attention, you think? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I support them and their fight to be able to boo whoever they want to boo. Booing, really? Is that a thing that you're going to get in trouble for from your job when you're working as a firefighter or police or some kind of first responder, for real? I mean, aren't there bigger fish to fry? You trying to hire an investigator to find out who was booing at a ceremony at a church. Meanwhile, migrants running the streets, doing whatever they want to do. You got crack smoke, weed smoke, meth smoke, all kind of smokes out there in the streets. You're worried about this? Again, you have bigger fish to fry and more important matters to deal with rather than this. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.